So I got a big problem today. I haven't played golf in a long time, and one of the issues that I've been thinking about was, you know, I hit my 7 iron pretty good, but because I don't practice that much, my 6 iron, my 5 iron, my 4 iron, which are the three other irons I have lower than that in the bag, I don't really hit them out well. Contact is not great, and then club face control isn't great. So I thought, what if I switch it up and make those the same length as my 7 iron? So today we're going to test that out.
This is the Tournament Code.
I'm here with Adam of Elite Fit Golf. Adam, tell us a little bit about Elite Fit Golf and what we're going to do today.
Welcome to Elite Fit Golf. Basically, we do club fitting, club modifications, custom club builds, basically anything on the equipment side. And it sounds like what we're going to be working on today is sort of a modified one length setup. So we're going to keep the short side of the bag where it is, which seems to be working. But for the longer clubs, we're going to basically try and get all those clubs a little bit shorter, a little easier to make good contact with, and hopefully give you a little more consistent distance, dispersion, all the things we want. So
what are the type of issues that we can run into when we're taking the 4, 5, and 6 and making them single length, and what are we going to have to correct for?
When people think about like a single length set of clubs, and I get this question a lot, I want to take my regular traditional length clubs and turn them into single length. You can do it. The problem is, while you may be able to make everything the same length, some of the other attributes of the clubs are not going to be the same. So the weight, the way the club feels, the lie angles, the lofts in some cases need to be tweaked a little bit. So all those other things can kind of get a little off kilter. So even though the length may be the same, they're not going to feel the same. So the trick is really making those adjustments as far as the weight goes, making the adjustments in the lie angle because we're changing the length, so that not only do they have the same length to them, but they have the same feel.
And cutting down the length should potentially decrease my club head speed. Well, how much distance do you think someone loses without making any modifications there?
And this is one of those things that people often will have ideas about in their head, is that I'm going to lose a lot of distance when I start cutting things down. At least on the smaller increments between like the 7 and the 6, I would be surprised if you actually did see any drop off in your speed. Once we get to like an inch difference or more than that, yeah, we'll maybe see a little bit. The question that really becomes then, does the drop off in speed that you see equal shorter distance, or does the fact that you're making hopefully better contact give you in the end similar ball speed, even though the club head speed went down because you're just hitting it in the center more? So hopefully what ends up happening is the distance doesn't really change that much, maybe a tiny bit, but the consistency, the dispersion, that circle just gets tighter and tighter, and that's really what we want.
That would be good. Well, I just warmed up, hit my 7 iron. I was carrying it about on average 190. So even if I lose a little on the top end of the bag, it shouldn't affect me too much. But we'll take a look and see how it goes.
Let's make it happen. Sure.
That is sweet.
It'll have all that.
That's a good one too. That's a heel ball.
See how big the circle is. That's
right.
The goal is
I mean, it's gonna be really hard for something like a 6 iron to be much tighter of a gap that I'm hitting. Yeah, here's a 5 iron. A little low on the face.
Won't get you in too much trouble.
Wave
my hand.
Ooh, there's one. I'll do that though sometimes.
Right.
Oh, that is probably 240. That one was mashed.
Therein lies the problem. Yeah, 230 carry. Problematic.
Oh, a little chunky.
Okay.
All right, but those are pretty accurate representations of what I might do with a 5 iron. That's right. That's a low cut.
hanging on.
That is very on brand. One's okay. I just always hit them on the forearm, like just a hair low on the face is where I'm at. See if I can get. There you go. That's a better one. That is also nuclearized. I'm not trying to hit it that hard, but it just happens. After getting those test numbers, time to actually cut the irons down to single length. Now, first we got to take off the grips, obviously. Then we got to actually measure them to get them down to size. If you're interested about the data from the initial shots, hang on for a few more minutes, we'll have it. Adam cuts them down to size and then also sands down the edges to make sure we don't have any tape sticking off. After sanding them down, pulls out the old hair dryer to warm up the tape because we're actually going to end up ripping this tape off. After we rip the tape off, time to put on some new tape. Now, the interesting thing about getting fit like this, Adam is great at it, is we're going to put on some test grips. So he has some grips in my size, and we're going to use an air compressor to blow the grips on. That means if we have to make any more changes to the club beforehand, cut them down more, do something, we don't have to do anything special in terms of, oh, we put a grip on, now we got to rip it off. The air compressor works pretty uniquely. You put the grip on, put the air compressor in, gives you a little bit of room, and then you just bloop, slide it right on. So we got our irons all cut down. We got our temporary grips put on there. And Adam's telling me it's going to feel a little bit funny. So I'm going to try it out real quick, see what the 4-iron and 5-iron feel like. Then we're going to add some weighting onto it in order to make it feel more normal.
Yeah, again, it's going to feel light. That's going to be the big thing, is it's going to feel a lot.
Well, I did not hit any of the 4-irons as well as I hit that, so.
Well, we might not need to make as many adjustments as
230 carry for those of you keeping track at home.
I'm recording these too, so you'll have all
the little open face, but okay. I don't mind that. I mean, I think we should weight it some. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, no, it's gonna feel a little bit like an outlier if we don't, but
I don't mind hitting a 4-iron that clean at all.
No, contact wise, we've been.
Oh, that was a bad one, but that's not surprising. I'll hit one more, and then agree that we should just weight them. So not even try out the 5 or the 6. One more. How far would that one go? 213, yeah.
213 on the carry.
That was peppered and a little low. 230, yeah.
Still got out there without any real issues.
Interesting. Now that we got to cut down to size, and now that we've tested them out, we also got to make sure that we actually weight them. When you cut it shorter, the overall feel of the club changes. So got to get them weighted, measured, and then put lead tape on the bottom. Also got to fix the lie, make them a little bit more upright, because the longer the club is, the more flat it'll be.
In the way while we're.
Little low heel ball. Little chunky monkey. That's fine. little shut club face. But nothing I'm too concerned about. Not bad. What was that?
What was that? Oh, did the tape fall off?
They fell.
Lead tape fly off. That's what it was here.
Much better contact with it cut down here. And much more consistency. We'll see how this one comes out because I kind of nuclearized that. But yeah, much
Okay.
more consistency within distance as well in terms of carry. That one was 220. Okay, that's better. It was just the lie angle. Even though that doesn't match up with what it should be doing.
Right.
It was
but something
just
was
the line.
it was different, and I think that may have been throwing you off.
Just a clunky one. Interesting. Oh, that's bad. Bad swing. All right. Now comes the fun part, seeing whether I cut down my clubs for nothing. First club we have up is the 6-iron. That, obviously, if you were paying any attention, I was absolutely nuclearizing it. So no surprise that my 6-iron that was cut down isn't that much different. Plus, the difference between a 6-iron and a cut down 7 is nothing crazy. Similar dispersion, similar carry yardage. Overall, no comments on the 6-iron. 5-iron is one where it got interesting. I noticed immediately that I was striking the ball much cleaner. I wasn't necessarily hitting it as far, but I was hitting the ball much cleaner. Now, the carry number is a little bit skewed because I had one really bad shot with my original 5-iron. So my normal carry with the 5-iron was higher, but I went from like 212 or like 180 or something like that, like 190 carry on one of them to like 240 on another. So it's all across the board. And then same thing on the 4-iron. 4-iron, the dispersion is a little bit wider with my single length, but when I was hitting the ball, it was coming off cleaner. The big problem I see here is obviously it's a limited sample size, but the carry for my 4-iron and the carry for my 5-iron were almost identical. So may have to work on some gapping. Overall, though, was very pleased with my contact and thought that this is going to be a big improvement for me. All righty. Well, we tried them out. We're going to regrip them with their brand new grips now that we've done the blow-on grips. 4, 5, and 6. What are your takeaways, Adam?
Based on, the sample size is always going to be bringing some question marks into it, but I do think there was enough good there as far as the contact we were seeing. Yeah, we had a little bit more maybe face open closed in some cases. In the 6-iron, it was a high bar to match up against how well you hit it that first go around. But yeah, I think overall it looks like we were getting a little bit better contact. So I think putting a little more time in with them and seeing, how it shakes out over the next couple of weeks or something like that.
It is strange, especially with that 4-iron setting up, trusting that you're going to be able to hit it up in the air, because it feels, for some reason, like the 4-iron, when it's longer, it feels like, okay, like I want to be able to get this up in the air. I'm going to hit it. It's going to spin enough. And when I have the 4-iron now, I'm like, am I going to be able to get this up in the air like fast enough?
Right.
Because it feels like a 7-iron. So we'll see. It'll lead us to maybe our next video. That 4-iron, 5-iron were very close, at least when I was hitting them. So may have to do some gapping. And then the next thing on the docket may be, if this goes well, taking driver down to 7-iron. Like, I'm just kidding. That would be crazy. But cutting down driver, maybe messing around with some other things. I appreciate it. Where can people find you on social media, YouTube especially?
YouTube is probably the easiest place. Elite Fit Golf, you can find me. So we do videos all about fittings and club building, and sort of different little tweaks that people can do in some cases on their own, out of their own garage or whatever, and try and improve their game a little bit. So yeah, Elite Fit Golf, and of course shop here in Atlanta. So
Excellent. Well, be sure to check out Adam, and be sure to follow the tournament code. If you haven't already subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. It's really late in the video, so if you made it this far, more power to you. And if you're here again, you should probably be subscribing if you're not here, if you're here at this point. Appreciate it.